My name is Markus Birdman. My show is called Love, Life and Death, and it's on at the Stand at 9:20 every night.
So have you played at the Fringe before?
Yeah, it's my 8th Fringe, actually. I've done 5 solo shows, 6 solo shows, sorry, and then 2 sort of group shows, you know. So I should be a seasoned campaigner, I guess, but yeah.
How much do you think the Fringe has changed then? Over the
It's got more, it's got larger, of course, it's got more competitive, it's getting more commercial. So I don't know, I mean, it gets harder and harder, I think, each year. I think the trouble is with comedy now, it's got very big business, and you know, you've got sort of bona fide superstars, and I think, unfortunately, the kind of money's come in, really. So it doesn't really help fringe performers, you know, people who try and do something a bit more experimental, a bit more sort of off, a bit more left field, really. So I'm sorry about that, really. Yeah, it's harder, but it's still, you know, I mean, it's still. Having said that, there's still room for all of that. So you know, I don't want to sound sort of snobbish about it and like that they don't belong here, but it's just it gets harder. Yeah.
Do you think your approach on your material has changed every year? Do you actually consciously change it?
No. I think if I started sort of second guessing what people would want from me, I think, you know, that's a sort of their that way lies madness. Do you know what I mean? So I think the only thing I can try and do is the stuff I want to do, and hopefully do it as well that people are impressed by that aspect of it. That's to say, I can't second guess what anyone else thinks of me, and shouldn't really. I think as a performer, I can only do my thing, you know.
Definitely. Do you feel that every night that you do is different? Is the audience reaction different?
I mean, it's bizarre because you can have a. I mean, my second show was just a dog's dinner. I mean, it was just through no fault of my own, you know. I mean, and I say that sort of not with any arrogance, just because I know the show, you know, and every other night's been fine, and it was just I don't know what happens. Just weird stuff happens. I don't know, you know, whether there's a sort of collective mind sort of force in the room, and just sometimes it doesn't ignite, or on other nights it really ignites, you know, perhaps sort of more than it normally does, you know. So it's a weird. The ball never comes over the net the same twice, as someone said about a tennis analogy, and I think it's true of comedy as well. It's always, you know, you might be repeating the same words and doing the same show, obviously, which for my case has a sort of structure to it, and I'm doing the same jokes, but it's always different. Yeah, and the reaction is always different.
So do you pick up a sort of vibe as soon as you walk out on stage? Do you know how it's going to go?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true, and sometimes, you know, it's beyond you to change it. Sometimes you can drag it up, you know. Sometimes you can start well and drag it down. Well, of course, you know, that can be dangerous. I mean, an hour's a long time, you know. So you know, you hope that I've been doing it long enough, and I've got enough moves that I can generally raise the room if it starts low, you know. But yes, it's a live thing, you know. It's not pre-recorded. You can't go back and re-edit it. So you can't get rid of the rubbish bit. So what happens, and that's the joy of it, and that's the sort of gamble you take, really, you know.
So do you sort of feel pressurised because, you know, it's the Edinburgh Fringe, you know, it's such a big festival? Is there more nerves for you, or is there expectations from audiences? For sure.
I mean, say this year, I'm just sort of, I've been saying to myself, I'm just enjoy yourself, you know. I'm determined to enjoy myself, and even actually the nature of my show has a sort of theme saying enjoy yourself. It's later than you think because of some of the shows, and I'm thinking, and yet I come here and don't actually take my own advice, you know. So I'm trying to kind of like go, I'm here, this is my job, I love my job, so why suddenly have you sort of tightened up? And it's very easy to do. There's a lot at stake. There's a lot of risk, financial, sort of artistic, you know, career-wise and stuff. So it's easy to get upset and easy to tighten up. And I think the answer is to relax, you know. Again, I mean, I don't know, you know, I've been following the Olympics, which is currently happening, of course, and time again, they're all kind of going, I need to run my own race, I need to relax, and I'm just not thinking about anyone else, and that's when they do well, doesn't it, really, you know, and I think it's the same for us, really. Not wanting to compare myself to the great and the good of the athletics world, whatever. But.
So, if you met somebody in the street and you said you're going to show in a minute, how could you tell them to come and see yours? How could you sell your show? Because obviously there's so much competition. How would you sell yours?
Yes, yeah, indeed. I think my show's called Love, Life and Death. It's about love, life and death, so it's all the big themes, you know. It's not. I'm not so. Basically, I had a stroke at the age of 40, and it's a show about my reaction to that, which again doesn't sound intrinsically hilarious, of course, but firstly it ends well. Here I am, you know. So I think there's that, and I like to. It's a celebration of life, really, by sort of thinking that you realise that it's going to be over, and you better enjoy yourself as it's later than you think, as I said earlier, you know. So it's very joyful, it's positive, with a tinge of darkness, which I think I like. My sense of humour is quite dark, and I think that's it feels a very human theme, and I think when I get it right, people really appreciate that it's about something. It's not just a man talking about his genitals for an hour, you know, which can be fun, but you don't necessarily leave thinking that had any kind of content, you know. So I feel it's got a bit of content, and whilst there's a lot of jokes, you know, it's funny. It's a funny show. It's not a morbid show. So.
Right. Well, I wish you the best of luck with it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cool. Cheers, man.